Good morning, 7th grade. Happy Wednesday. Today I am going to tell you about your project that you're going to do for the end of this unit. This project is worth a test grade, so it's a really important part of what you're doing in Bible class. So I'm going to start off by just introducing to you, with the help of Paul and his friends, the situation that you're going to imagine for this project. And then I will go through the instructions. So here we have a group of people who have been affected by the coronavirus pandemic, and you can see each one has something going on. First, we have the person that has COVID-19 and is very sick and is struggling through that illness. Then we have the person who lost his job because of the fact that his business was closed because of social distancing, and so now he has no job and is running out of money and really is worried about that. And then we have the person who is grieving because their loved one has died from this illness, and they have experience the loss of that. And then we also have the person who is gripped with fear and anxiety about what's going to happen in the future and just wants to hide away because they don't know what to do. And all of these people are in need and they want to seek God, but there is no place for them to go because they can't go to church, and so they need help. And the question is, how are they going to get the help that they need from God? So as you work on this project, I want you to imagine those people. We've been talking about the church for a while and what the purpose of the church is, what the church does for people, and right now that has a significant difference in the way that it happens. So church looks different and it feels different. And so what you are going to do is you're going to take what we've learned about the church and you are going to create something that applies those principles to our direct current situation. I'm going to switch over to the instructions and talk you through them so that you can see them at the same time as I'm talking, and that will hopefully help you to get a good, clear picture of what you're going to do. Okay, so here are the instructions. These are found in Moodle as well, church project instructions, so you can open them and read them anytime while you're working on this project. It is 2 parts. Part 1 is due on Monday, part 2 is due on Wednesday, so make sure you're doing both. And the objective and your role in this is to imagine that you are a pastor who is starting a new church to meet the needs of people who are seeking God during the time of the coronavirus pandemic. So you need to think about your audience, which I showed you earlier. Think about those people who have been affected by the pandemic for all the reasons we talked about. Those people are seeking God. They may be Christians, they may not be Christians, they may have never believed in God before, but they are seeking Him and they want answers and they want comfort and peace in this time. So you're creating a new church specifically to meet the needs of those people. So this is how you're going to do that. First part is to create the plan. So for this part, you are going to use the church project outline document and make sure that you fill in all the parts of that document. So you're going to design the church with 3 main things: name, mission, and activities. So for the name, think of what would you call the church and how you're going to show what the church is about in the name. Then for the mission is what's the goal, the purpose of the church. So what is the church trying to do? And just make a one-sentence statement that tells the goal and the purpose of your church. And then you're going to plan activities. I am requiring you to do 3 activities. These can be different types of things that is going to help you to reach the people and meet their needs. So keep in mind, you have to continue to use the social distancing guidelines, so you can't have a party with 300 people all gathered together in one place. But there's a lot of things you can do with virtual things, and so think through that. So you're going to name and describe each of your 3 activities by answering the questions that I've listed here about what's happening. Those activities can be for the whole church, everybody, or it could be for certain groups, or some combination of that. Then after you've designed those parts of the church, you're going to write the second part, which is a letter of introduction to your church members. So this is to say, hey, this is what our church is about, welcome, and to give them some encouragement and advice and all those things. So think about the epistles that we read in the Bible and what those letters did for the church, and that's kind of what you're doing. It should be at least 200 words. I've listed some things that you can think about as what you want to include: words of encouragement, advice, reminders of what God says in the Bible. Please note, if you're using Bible verses, you need to give the verse reference every time you use a Bible verse. But also, don't only quote verses in the letter. Most of the letter should be your words, but you can add in a couple of verses to provide extra comfort from God. So that's part 1. That part is due on Monday. The document, once you fill it all in, is to be submitted on Moodle in the part 1 assignment. Okay, then part 2 is you're going to create a commercial for your church. So after you design the church, you're going to want to get people to come, and that means they need to know about it. So you make a video commercial telling them about it and getting them to join. And there's a couple things you should make sure you do. Include information about your church's name, mission, and activities. They need to know what it's about and what's happening. And make it creative and exciting and appealing and fun, because you're trying to get people interested. So that's the purpose of the commercial. And the length of your commercial, it should be at least 30 seconds. That's minimum. Must be 30 seconds. It can be longer than that. Don't make it too long. People tend to not want to watch 3-minute commercials. Think about when you're watching TV. You want to just get to the rest of the show. So keep it shorter. Make it focused and engaging for that 30 seconds, or maybe up to a minute if you go a little bit longer. And then once you finish your video, you need to save it to OneDrive and then copy the link into the online text area of the Moodle assignment. There is instructions for how to do that if you don't know on Moodle, and I gave you a link here that will take you directly to those instructions if you need to know how to submit your video. But you guys have done videos before, so I think that you should be able to remember how to do that. So this is a test grade in the summative category. It's a lot of points, so make sure that you do your absolute best. There are rubrics for each part on Moodle as well, so you can read those to see what you're graded on and make sure that you've done everything well. If you follow the instructions like they're laid out in this document that we've just gone over, you will do well. And finally, I put this in just to remind you to do original work, use your creativity, show what you personally have learned, and don't copy from the internet or from your classmates or anybody else, but show me what you can do on this, because you're all really awesome and creative and smart, and I know that you can do a really great job. Now, last thing, if you have questions, you've gone through this video and you've read all the instructions and you're still not sure, please email me and ask. Ask for help if you need it. Don't try to do it all without asking, because you might do it wrong and that's going to really affect your grade. So make sure you ask for help if you need it. I'm available and ready to answer your questions. And I look forward to seeing what you create. So have fun.